This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell and Unette Gentry. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Give them a call, 727-9900. Today's news is also brought to you by Gunny's Air Conditioning and Heating. New, service, and repair. Call Gunny's, 775-727-6800.
Welcome and thanks so much for joining us here on News 25 on KPVM TV and Ace Country Radio. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Unette Gentry. It is Thursday, May 26th.
Well, a murder suspect appears in court. Nye County District Attorney's Office has filed a criminal complaint charging Pahrump resident Jerry Darrell O'Brien with murder after he allegedly used a motor vehicle to run over and kill local man John Mullins in the parking lot of the Pahrump Nugget on May 19th. O'Brien could face a life sentence if convicted of murder. The district attorney also says that he faces charges of leaving the scene of a fatal accident, a Category B felony with a maximum penalty of 8 to 20 years imprisonment and a $5,000 fine. News 25 has learned about a co-defendant, Sinead Irwin, who has not been arrested as of yet, according to the Nye County Sheriff's Office. Irwin is facing a count of leaving the scene of a fatal accident, a Category B felony with 8 to 20 years maximum, and accessory to murder, a Category C felony with a maximum sentence of 2 to 5 years for allegedly helping O'Brien attempt to evade capture and possible punishment for his actions. Jeremy O'Brien was in court this morning in Pahrump with Justice Court Judge Sullivan. Defending him was Ronnie Boscovich. O'Brien is in custody at this time. His next court date is scheduled for July 6th at 9 a.m. He is being held on $1 million cash bail or $2 million bond.
And everyone, please be careful out there on the roadways this Memorial Day weekend. Police and medics responded to a crash Wednesday night on Highway 160 in Homestead. Thankfully, no serious injuries are reported.
2 people were transported via Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue ambulance to Desert View Hospital following a 2-vehicle crash on Homestead Road and Highway 160 last night. Nevada Highway Patrol is conducting the crash investigation involving an SUV and a sports vehicle. Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies and auxiliary units arrived on scene to assist with the investigation and traffic control. Involved were a group of tourists in a gray SUV who were passing through town following a day visit to Death Valley, and in the black car, a driver who was the only occupant. One patient who suffered minor injuries was initially transported. A short time later, another patient was taken to Desert View after becoming dizzy. So, yeah, I was first on scene at last night.
Yeah, and I heard you directed traffic out there.
Yeah, you have to do what you have to do, right?
That's right, yeah. We're news. We should be first on scene, but you always go above and beyond.
Thanks.
All right, we'll be right back with much more local news.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on. This segment of News 25 is brought to you by Lisa Spahitz and Mike Plasmeyer at Country Financial Insurance. Auto, home, life, and commercial. 775-727-8920.
Welcome back to News 25. Well, dozens of cats were the victims of an awful hoarding situation. Now the district attorney's office is looking into charges for the culprit.
We were called for a house that had been abandoned, or the owners moved out, and they left all their cats and animals. We went in there, we gained access from the owner that owned the property, and we were able to get the cats. Some were so sick that we had to unfortunately euthanize 23 of them.
Wow.
52 cats were taken from the property, and then we were called back and took 2 more out of there. We adopted out approximately 12 of them. We do have some kittens that we desperately need fosters for. Any range from 3 weeks to 6 weeks old. We received $2,300 on Facebook. We can't thank the public enough. We also got almost 600 pounds of food and litter to help them. This has been a thing going on for the last 4 weeks. And we do not keep animals here at our office. Most of them are in foster homes. So we can meet you, call me, we'll meet you, we'll give you whatever you need, we'll give food and everything until they're old enough to spay and neuter and get adopted out. We have been in this since 2012. Last year we spay and neutered 801 cats and 265 dogs. That's our main goal. We normally do not do adoptions, but everyone is so overwhelmed, and this was just a horrific situation that we had to step up and start finding homes. We had 3 cats that had bad eye issues, where one eye was removed on these 3 cats. So we also have what we call Popeye cats. So anybody that'd like to adopt them, they're good cats, they're friendly. So, okay, so you'll take a litter of kittens. You just socialize them, make sure that they're, healthy. We supply all medical, we supply food, we supply litter. We'll supply cages to help you get started. And then you just have to kind of make them friendly and show them that they're loved. Right, we're working with other organizations too that will take them and adopt them out. So we're working with 2 in Vegas, and then our 2 Never Forgotten and Paws Pets Are Worth Saving out here. Call us at 702-306-3245 or stop by our office located at 520 East Street down from the library.
Those are the most adorable cats. So glad they're safe now. And speaking of safety, the horrific school shooting at an elementary in Texas leaves families across the country in shock as they struggle to make sense of that tragedy. Many children are also asking their parents questions about that situation. So what's the best way to tell them about what happened?
Really thinking about approaching those conversations, especially with like elementary aged and, older kids, really approaching that conversation and sort of saying like, hey, what do you know about what just happened? Because that way you're meeting them where they're at. You're not providing more information than maybe what they already know. I want to be, really sort of intentional about limiting exposure. So not just like limiting, having them watch news coverage or TV, but even if you just have it on in the background and you think the kids are playing, you think they're doing something, they still are likely taking in that information.
The medical experts also say it's important for parents to pay attention to any changes in their children's behavior due to that horrible situation. And if your child becomes more quiet or withdrawn, it may be a sign that they're having a difficult time dealing with that tragic shooting. News 25 will be right back.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on.
Well, it's the first of its kind and hopes to be an annual event. This event that looks into the monarch butterfly's rise and fall and the fans who watch this creature very closely.
I've been studying monarch butterflies pretty intensely for the last 6 years. I'm really a scientist at heart, and so, and I'm very active on in the Facebook community. I didn't know anything about this church, but I do now. They're really amazing people. Yeah. So the idea was to bring all 3 communities together, and it wasn't that easy to do, but I think it worked out.
I love watching the caterpillars go through changes where it's almost like the ugly duckling scene. I think monarch caterpillars are cute because I'm weird, but when they turn into that butterfly, they look so much nothing like what they started off to be. And I really see that hope in people, and that brings me to part of the reason why I love them is the transformation and how people can change just like bugs can change.
Yeah, so today we're here doing outreach, and that outreach is consisting of having a lot of hands-on materials and takeaways for people to learn about the monarch butterfly, the species, and the bigger ecosystem in which they live. So we have a lot of flower displays and milkweed displays, as well as some of the actual specimen displays.
everything is my favorite thing about the monarch butterfly. I love the stages of the monarch butterfly. I love everything about the monarch butterfly. I'm learning from the best about the monarch butterfly, and I just hope that we can save the monarch butterfly.
The monarch butterflies are the only insects that migrate two ways. And they migrate from Canada all the way down to Mexico, and they migrate from Mexico all the way back to Canada. And in order for them to do that, they've got to be able to stop and feed, they've got to be able to breed, and they've got to have overwintering groves, like you might have seen in Pismo Beach, that type of thing. We've got some here in this county also, not as grandiose, but they have to be able to live out the winter. So all of those things have to be in place. If there's anything in between, like a development or pesticides or toxic pollutants of some kind or another, the monarchs can't go all the way to Canada, and they can't in the springtime. They can't go all the way to Mexico in the fall. I love the fact that they migrate. I love watching how they interact with each other in the garden. It doesn't take much to have a monarch-friendly garden. You can just have maybe 15 or 20 milkweed plants and some nectar plants, and just sit back and watch, take pictures, learn from it.
Hi, caterpillar chow is milkweed, and we grow it. Well, for the monarch caterpillar, all milkweeds are good. It just depends on where they come from and how they're grown. That's the biggest thing. Tropical, native, doesn't really matter so much as you make sure that you got a clean source with no pesticides, and that you take care of the plants just like you would any other plant in your garden. What you guys can actually do is Google your state's local milkweed. There's a lot of organizations in every state that will provide you a list of all of your native plants. And you can use that information to help you find a supplier. Now, of course, if you have trouble, you can always find us on Facebook. It's easy to do, facebook.com/caterpillarchow. And we are always able to help you. If you have a question, we'll answer it. If you need guidance, we'll guide you.
All right, beautiful butterflies. And speaking of butterflies, well, baseball, basketball, and more is coming up right now in sports with Doug Ferber.
Hello, sports fans. Could Colin Kaepernick be on the Raiders sideline this fall? The Aviators snap a 3-game losing streak, and Aces guard Kelsey Plum gives her thoughts on playing the defending champs this weekend. I'll have this and more in today's sports report. I'm Doug Ferber.
Colin Kaepernick, who hasn't played a down in the NFL since the 2016 season and hasn't worked out with the team since 2017, got his chance yesterday, according to sources close to the Las Vegas Raiders. Kaepernick, a civil rights activist and football free agent according to Wikipedia, played college ball for Nevada Reno, tallying 10,000 yards passing and 4,000 yards rushing while being named the Western Athletic Conference Player of the Year twice. Kaepernick was drafted by the 49ers in the second round of the 2011 draft, then was back up to Alex Smith his rookie season. He got his opportunity to start in the second season when Smith went down with a concussion mid-season. Kaepernick took advantage and guided the 49ers to their first Super Bowl since 1994. The 49ers were beaten by the Baltimore Ravens 34-31, but Kaepernick did his part, passing for 302 yards and 1 touchdown while also running in one for San Francisco. No word on how the workout went. Stay tuned.
Las Vegas Aviators beat the Tacoma Rainiers yesterday 3-1, snapping a 3-game skid.
For the second straight game, Aviator outfielder Billy McKinney homered. Wednesday, McKinney hit a solo shot in the first and scored one of the 2 go-ahead runs in the ninth on a bloop fly ball to right, ending in a Jonah Bride double. Las Vegas starter Jared Koenig pitched 7 scoreless innings but wasn't credited with the win. These two teams go at it again tonight in Tacoma. The first pitch is set for 6:05 p.m.
The Las Vegas Aces had a tough time in the semifinals last season, losing in 5 games to the Phoenix Mercury, who came back from a 2-1 series deficit to oust the Aces.
This year, the Aces have swept all 3 games with Phoenix, including Saturday's 100-80 win in Las Vegas. On Saturday afternoon, the Aces will be in Chicago to take on the Sky, the defending WNBA champions, then have 2 games with Connecticut next week. Aces guard Kelsey Plum said that Chicago and Connecticut will present a challenge, but this team is ready.
It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a battle. And we understand that. They have a lot of great players, a lot of different weapons. So we got to come in locked in, ready to go. I also think, too, for Connecticut, we've gotten our butts kicked the last couple of years by them. They've really had our number. They've really disrupted us. and they do a lot of things really well. I mean, they're a deep team. They're a veteran team. They played together for years. So those are 3 games that are going to be really tough and test us. So it's going to be interesting to see, how we respond. But I'm super confident in, our team and our principles, and we're ready.
Former Las Vegas Raider coach John Gruden, who is suing the NFL for releasing tape from private conversations with Washington football team executives that in part led to his resignation last October, won a Nevada court order over the NFL's attempt to dismiss his lawsuit yesterday. The ruling allows the former coach to continue to pursue the NFL civilly. For KPVM 25 TV Sports, I'm Doug Ferber.
News 25 WeatherCam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
All right, your Memorial Day views look great. If we're going by today, clear blue skies, scattered clouds, but we'll take a closer look at the forecast. What do you think is happening this weekend?
I think it's going to be a good 3-day weekend. I'm hoping to find out the weather.
That's right.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios on a Thursday night. Looking pretty good out there up and down Nevada. Well, with a couple of exceptions. Fernley, Fallon, Carson City, and Tonopah, you're all about mid-80s. Fallon, big standout at 92. But everybody up north, you're under a wind advisory that's really whipping out there. I mean, we've got some wind in here, but up north, yeah, it's getting pretty dicey. You get down to Goldfield, though, 87 degrees, 96 in Beatty. Amargosa saw 99, and Las Vegas beat everybody, 103 degrees. And in the southern part of Nevada, we're all under a red flag warning for fire. So please don't burn out in the yard. Do us all a favor and not, be immolating in how you do. Out in Death Valley, it's 110 degrees, but here in the Paradise Pahrump, let's take a look, 97 degrees. Wow, impressive. Today's high and also our current temperature. Wind out of the south to 18 miles per hour, actually feeling pretty good with that high temperatures. Sun rose this morning at 5:30 and it's setting this evening at 7:51. Watch for it, it's going to be gorgeous. We get mostly clear skies, but a couple clouds going to add some color and some real pretty tones to the sunset tonight at 7:51. Heading down to low tonight at 71 degrees. Winds continuing out of the southeast to 15 miles per hour for how many days? Like 3 or 4? Yeah, pretty much. Look at this next 3-4 days. Temperature's going to be staying in the 90s next couple days. Start taking a nosedive on Sunday. We get some clear skies and some clouds returning on Monday. And winds kicking back up. But come Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, beautiful weather. Sunshine, temperatures in the mid-80s and low 90s. And then we end up at 96 degrees. Well, it looks like some things to look forward to. Next 3-4 days, kind of dicey, but actually still not too bad. It's the Paradise Pahrump, don't you know? All right, back to the desk. Here's Deanna.
All right, buy your graduation DVDs.
That's
you can buy them, pre-order them for Pahrump Valley High School. You can buy them at the graduation tomorrow night.
That's right. See you at graduation tomorrow.
Exactly. 727-9400. You can buy a digital or DVD copy of the Pahrump Valley High School graduation. We'll see you back here tomorrow. I'm Deanna.
I'm Unette.
Good night.
Good night.